Just be honest. I think that would be taught so it would be hard for people to be misled. I think that should be taught so it's... I don't know what you're trying to say. Sorry. Who is to say that such a body of scientists would seek to control the flow of information that led to scientific Sorry. Would seek, or do you mean wouldn't seek? Anyone can be bought off. Right. That's why you have transparency. We've gone over this, haven't we? Like... That's why it all has to be done out in the open, so that, you know, if a decision is made that is suspect, everyone can look at it. And there has to be a mechanism whereby this administration can be questioned and interrogated to prevent sort of that kind of corruption from happening. And if there is, like, serious evidence that corruption is happening, there should be fucking massive consequences built into the fucking system, so there's the incentive to do it is not stronger than the fucking possible penalty for, like, doing something corrupt. How will you know the institution is becoming corrupted? Because they will declare something false that is either true or is too vague to possibly declare false. Like, if they were to go out, if they were to declare, like, it is demonstrably false that Donald Trump is a good president or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's an opinion. You can't fucking declare true or false about a fucking subjective opinion. So, obviously, that's an instance of corruption. You know, or even if it's like just like something where the science is vague, like, you know, the science isn't all in on a subject, or the evidence point is, you know, it doesn't clearly point one way or the other. I'm trying to think of an issue where that would be the case, but whatever. Like, if there's an issue where, let's say, we're trying to figure out if our consumption of, you know, Yoo-hoo is contributing to, you know, Alzheimer's disease or something, you know. It's Yoo-hoo connected to Alzheimer's. You know, and then they, you know, the Yoo-hoo Corporation goes to the scientific... the fact-check administration and is like, there's no Yoo-hoo Corporation, it's probably Coke or Pepsi or one of those, but Yoo-hoo goes to them and is like, hey, you know, we don't like all this talk that's been going on about Yoo-hoo being the cause of Alzheimer's disease, so we need you to fucking put the kibosh on that lickety-split. And then the fact-check administration is like, issues a statement like, you know, we've declared it demonstrably false that Yoo-hoo causes Alzheimer's disease. It's like, well, now we know they're corrupt, because they just made a decision that the science was not there to back it up. And independent scientists will stand up against them, and everyday people will stand up against them, and there will be investigations, and there will be, you know, if corruption is found, it'll be fucking punished, and that fucking ruling will be fucking stricken from the record. So yeah, like, any sort of, like, super gray area, you know... I don't know. I mean, like, it'd be obvious if the fucking administration started doing shit that was fucking wrong. I don't know. I think it'd be... I think you just go with the evidence. Like, take the whole point of the fact-check administration is take the people out of it as much as possible. Obviously, when you're talking about a political body that's making decisions that affect people, the human element is always going to be there. But, like, when it comes to, like, what's fact and what's not fact, we need to take fucking opinion and bias and politics and personality out of it to the greatest extent we possibly can. What happens when new evidence comes to light about something that was thought to be false, turns out to be true? What happens to the people who are punished because it was legal to believe or whatever? Well, then, I don't really feel like people would be... I'm not advocating that anyone be punished for it. And, like, I don't think there should be, like, I don't think anyone should go suffer, like, criminal penalties for spreading misinformation. I just think it should be eliminated from the public sphere to the greatest extent possible. Like, I don't advocate jailing anyone for it. But, you know, like, what would happen to those people? I mean, like, obviously the fact would then be allowed. It'd be like, hey, look, new evidence has come to light, and now it's no longer, you can now say this because the evidence has changed or new evidence has come to light. But, like, how often does that actually happen? Like, when's the last time a fucking something that we thought of as an incontrovertible scientific fact was proven totally wrong? I'm not saying it's never happened. It clearly has happened. But has it happened recently? And has it happened in a major way about, like, a major issue or topic? Like, we're not talking about putting the trust... We're not talking about trusting scientists. Scientists are still human beings with biases and politics. We're talking about trusting science, as in the scientific method, as in, you know, forming a hypothesis and experimenting and, you know, predicting the results and seeing if the fucking test, conceiving of a test, doing the test, seeing if the fucking test results conform to the hypothesis, fucking upgrading that shit to a fucking theory, etc., etc., going through the whole fucking rigors of that, you know, and we arrive at certain fucking conclusions. And those conclusions are not conclusions because, like, it's not, like, evolution is not true because a majority of scientists believe it's true. Evolution is true because the overwhelming preponderance of evidence that shows that it is true. Right? So, I don't know. It's happened within 1,000 years. All right, within 100 years. Okay, give me the example. That's all I'm asking for is an example of a time it happened. Would Paul undermine a Jamie Darkey run government? I have no... I guess. I don't know. What happens when someone says the earth is flat if they're not punished? Then that statement is just, like, not allowed on social media. Unless it's, like, made satirically or something. When quantum mechanics was discovered. Quantum mechanics was just I mean, like, Newtonian physics has not been usurped by quantum mechanics, though. It's just, quantum mechanics is a superior model to, like, because when you're talking about a scientific theory, you're just talking about a model of reality. Quantum mechanics is a more detailed model of reality than Newtonian physics, with more accurate predictive powers. But Newtonian physics is still useful enough that it's still used in many situations. So it's not like Newtonian physics has been usurped. It's just been downgraded as, like, the second best model. So I don't know. And yet there are millions of people who don't believe in evolution. Right. And why is that? It's because we allow we allow people to lie and propagandize about it. Newtonian physics is still applicable to day-to-day life. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that's it wasn't like that did not overturn the apple cart. Like, the discovery of, like, magic would be like, whoa, magic is real. Holy shit, there are ghosts. Right? Oh my god, a fire-breathing dragon. Like, those are things that are like, whoa. Turns out the earth really is flat, you guys. Holy shit. It was all a fucking lie. Can't believe we fell for that round earth shit. Can you? TJ, how do you think the fact-check administration would react towards circumcision? Doctors make a shitload of money from mutilating babies and will lobby to get the FCA to crack down on intactivists. I don't think, I mean, like, as far as circumcision goes, like, that's, like, that to me falls in the realm of subjectivity. Like, there are specific claims about it that you could fucking probably say, you're not allowed to make this claim, you're not allowed to make this claim. But as far as, like, how you feel about the overall issue, like, your opinion should not be, like, if you want to look at the actual evidence and fall on one side or the other of the issue, that's on you. You can decide what's moral. You can decide what's fucking not. You can be on either side of that moral issue or that opinion issue or whatever. Like, I don't know. I happen to think circumcision should not be... I don't really have a problem with circumcision. I have a problem with involuntary circumcision of newborns. That seems really weird to do, like an unnecessary surgery on someone for cultural reasons. I think let them choose to do that if they want to later in life. But, yeah, as far as, like, involuntarily mutilating penises of, like, babies, I think that's probably wrong and probably shouldn't happen. But... that's just, I mean, that is a subjective opinion. Yeah, I think they should add more foreskin surgically at birth. Yeah, graft on a larger foreskin, because that's what we like now. But yeah, I don't really see like the overall issue. I don't really see how you could rule one way or the other. Like nothing, like every opinion should be safeguarded, because to me that's what freedom of speech is. It's the right to hold whatever opinion you want, to view the world in whatever way you want to. But like reality is reality, and ultimately I don't think you have the right to distort reality to make it fit your narrative. And we see way too many people doing that. Is the idea that Halloween Kills is a masterpiece a fact or a subjective opinion? It's my opinion that it's a fact. But it is in fact an opinion, right? So. What was the reason for circumcision again? Mostly like religious bullshit. A lot of times it was like thought of as like to reduce stimulation, so that, you know, little boys wouldn't play with themselves and stuff. Like, is it really disturbed like these prudish fundamentalist types? And then there's been like a lot of stuff where it's like a rite of passage into manliness and things like that. So there's like, I don't know, there's like different cultural reasons from different fucking backgrounds. I don't know why so many fucking different human beings across different cultures have decided to like chop off their dick skin. It seems like quite a few have, for whatever reason. And yeah, there are some health benefits in certain respects. Like, you know, obviously there's more of a potential for bacterial buildup if you have a foreskin. So that's fair enough. I think it makes STDs worse, but like most of the cultural reasons for circumcision have nothing to do with that, because that was stuff that was incidentally kind of discovered later on. But yeah, it was mainly like prudish anti-sex people who mutilated children because they didn't like the fact that they didn't like little boys masturbating, basically, and they're like, oh, that makes me uncomfortable, so, you know, mutilate them to make it less stimulating for them. I mean, it's like, what? Pretty fucking crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty stupid shit. I don't know. I mean, like I said, though, if people want to get circumcised when they can, like, are old enough to make a decision about it, go ahead. But, you know, like, before you're old enough to make a decision about it, why? Just don't, I mean, like, I don't know. It seems really fucked up and weird to, like, subject someone to a surgery that they have no say in before they're even old enough to fucking think about it. The STD thing is bullshit. Europe has a far less HIV than America, despite being majority intact. Yeah, but there's other factors that go into that. The evidence, at least last I looked into it, which has been a few years, that circumcision decreases STD transfers, I think is pretty solid. But I haven't looked at it in a while, so maybe things have changed. Amputation is not therapeutic. Yep. Yeah, I mean, like, I come from a generation where most people were circumcised. I think it's becoming less common as time goes on, as people kind of wake up to the fact that it's pretty weird. But I was luckily not circumcised, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, African cultures tended to use the circumcision as like a rite of passage. I remember there was like some tribe, I can't remember what the fuck the tribe's name was or what region of Africa they lived in, but basically it was like you got the circumcision when you turned like whatever age they consider you to be a man, and they like do the circumcision and you're supposed to not react to it, and basically if you do react in any way, you're like bitch made in their eyes, so you have to be like very stoic while they chop your dick off. Part of it anyway. Which sounds like fucking crazy to me, but whatever. I guess you gotta be tough in that tribe, you know? They don't need no fucking little girly men. Have a couple quid. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Every little bit helps for sure. Check some. Damn it. Is there a female rite of passage also? I don't know. I don't even remember what tribe I'm talking about. I just saw it on fucking TV one time. It's like, all right. Crazy shit. Let's see here. Yeah, that's the one. No, you can't buy red for $40. Red's more expensive than that, sorry. They cut clits in Africa. Yeah, but I don't really think that's a rite of passage. I think that's more like treating women like chattel.
Just meat. Stop asking if we have anything else. Next we've got Betty Hutton.
But I'm a hypocrite if I say anything, because like my whole fucking scheme is like everything I pretty much do serves a larger purpose, and I've been upfront about it. Everything I do, everything I say, every fucking position I take, it's all part of my Machiavellian scheme to enslave all the big-butted women on Earth. And it's a 28-step plan. It started as a 28-step plan. I've recently streamlined it into a 14-step plan. I've cut half the steps away, combined a lot of elements, really did some research into social engineering. And we're currently, I was on step 3 of the old plan, but in the restructuring, I was able to get myself all the way up to step 5. So we're on step 5. Step 5 is pretty much the trickiest step. So I will probably be, I mean, right now I am projected to, I was initially when I started the plan when I was like 20 years old, I intended to enslave all of the big-butted women by the time I was 30. Now, obviously, I am 36, and I still have not enslaved all of the big-butted women on Earth. So it's like kind of like I'm not really quite there yet. Am I upset that Vosh has outpaced me intellectually? I'll answer you in 1 second. Let's put a pin in that. Ask me that again in like a minute or two after I'm done explaining this. I will just say, I'll say this. Vosh is part of the plan. Don't worry. Like, Vosh, Vosh is but a tiny cog in the master plan, so I'm not worried about him outstripping me. He's one of my puppets. He dances to my tune. Everything he says and does is just fed to him by me. He has an impressive vocabulary and an impressive cadence and a way of speaking and stuff. That's good. That's the skill set he brings to the table. But you know, I'm on step 5 currently of the new revised streamlined 14-stage plan. But it's a difficult phase, and the fucking variables that I have to get in place in order for step 6 to become viable are pretty crazy. So I have to, I guess I shouldn't tell you guys too much about it, but I will say this. We need to get to the point where we come to the brink of a civil war without quite doing a civil war. If we do a civil war, then I'm set back to stage 3, and then it's going to take even longer. But if we If we don't even come close to a civil war, then it's like, whatever, I'm gonna have to totally go back to the drawing board. But if we come right to the fucking brink of a civil war and then pull back at the last minute, then my plan is going pretty well. I meant for it to be almost a civil war on January 6th, but the stupid Trumpers, they didn't... Okay, well, whatever. They didn't go as far as I needed them to, but that's fine. So we're going to try again in 2024. Hopefully that'll be the near civil war. We need it to be like... What I need is about 1,500 to 10,000 casualties nationwide in a fucking conflict between different groups of Americans before everyone else pulls back. And if we get to that point, to that place, that means that step 5 has been successfully completed. And those are going to be, I mean, well, there's some other conditions that have to be in place, but the other conditions are pretty easy. That condition of bringing America just to the brink of civil war without pushing it over the edge is really hard. It's like a razor's edge, you know? You got to bring that boiling point just so. Brink of civil war. And then, you know, from there, honestly, steps 6 through 14, comparatively easy. Step 5 is easily the most difficult step. And, you know, but if I can successfully pull off step 5 in 2024 and we can get to the brink of civil war without going all the way into civil war, then I estimate that I should have total enslavement of every big-butted woman on Earth by 2026. And then I'll be happy. So I will be... But how old will I be in 2026? I'll be... It's 2021 now. I'm 36. I'll be in my 40s by then, probably. So, yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. I wanted it to be by the time I turn my 30, but it's taken a lot longer. I would say, like, if it gets to the point where I'm, like, looking down the barrel of 50, I'll probably just give up and be like, all right, whatever. It's pointless now. I don't know. I guess maybe I'd still try, but it would be more half-hearted at that point. I feel like I'm still young enough for it to matter, but, like, if I get to, like, the point where I'm, like, 60 years old, I'm probably just, I think 60 is probably the hard limit where I'm going to hang it, you know, just hang it up. Like, all right, I tried my best. And, you know, whatever. I mean, I did a valiant thing. 40 is a good age for a cult leader, I guess. It's fine. But, I don't know. We'll see. What's step 7? I mean, I can't tell you step 7 yet. I will tell you it involves a Crisco shortage. That's the only clue you get. You've never given up on anything before? Remember, it's all performance, though. Yeah, maybe I'll have a new ambition if I fucking try. Yeah, 60, maybe I'll just be like, I'll just be president. I'll settle for that. I mean, it's definitely better to enslave all of the big-butted women on Earth than it is to be president, but I guess president would be a decent consolation prize. I don't know why you guys think it's going to be a cult. It's not going to be a cult. They're literally going to just be my slaves. It's not going to be like, they're not going to be like willing slaves to the cult. Like, they're just going to, like, literally be like, I'm reinstituting slavery, but it's going to be of big-butted women, and they are all going to be my property. That's it. You know, and you guys don't get any benefit out of it. It's not like I'm going to share them. They're going to be mine. That's how we're going to do this. All right? So you guys shouldn't, if anything, should not be rooting for this. Many of you will die, especially in stage 12. So I wouldn't be too excited. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Meanwhile, all I want is a working pair of eyes. Ambition. Shut up. Talking to me? What'd I do? Shut up. Guy's just mad. He's got no reason to be. I didn't do anything to him yet. Not yet, anyway. It's every thick bitch on her 18th birthday just become part of TJ's plan. There's not going to be any more 18th birthdays. Unfortunately, and I know it is kind of selfish, my plan does involve sterilizing the human race. So eventually there's not going to be any crop of new people. But that's fine. We're going to transition to a robot world. So, you know. Big-bootied men. Some of them will be mine. But there's not as many big-bootied men as there are big-bootied women. But yeah, there will also be part of the extended slave harem. It'd be so nice to not be blind. Yeah. I'll get you some LASIK, baby. LASIK. TJ, make a rap. Oh, it vanished. Message retracted. Okay, fair enough. Not a girl who misses much. Dootin' dootin' doo doo. Oh yeah. She's well acquainted with the touch of a velvet hand, like a lizard on a window pane.
Now, a word or several
What is this?
from our
Who cares?
sponsors. Swatters. Own a piece of Diamond City history, and then beat people to death with it.
See if I can do this.
Warren Smith has a song
You
about
sing the
digging
hits.
for uranium, which is, I guess, is that kind of fun?
I'm gonna go through this.
I don't
I'm
get
gonna
it.
practice a few times. Practice in my head. You gonna play or what? Okay. I'm just gonna mute it for you guys for a second here. Wait up, guys. Hold on. I hate these karaokes that don't give you any fucking warning before they fucking jump into the fucking words. I need like a little timer, you know? You gotta give me that. No, 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 no. Nope. No. Let me find a better one. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. I'm trying to figure something out. Could be a bunch of stupid bitches, alright? Bitches. Don't be a bunch of stupid. Let's see about this one. Oh, this looks terrible. It sounds awful too. That's garbage. Okay. This might be good. God, that's garbage. It's not a popular karaoke song. All right, I'm just gonna do my best with the one I can find. So it's just what it is. What it is. It is what it is. Should get my singing mic. I need to get my singing mic, and I need to take a piss, and then karaoke of "Happiness Is a Warm Gun." Test, test. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Test, 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 test. Testing. Okay, that probably works. She's not. Nope. I missed it. The fucking words have to come in before the music. All the more reason why you gotta fucking give me like a dot, 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 boom. Let me see exactly what fucking second this music kicks in. So I can fucking time it. Okay, so I'm supposed to start singing at exactly how many seconds? Damn it. Fuck. So it's like 10 seconds. Okay. Maybe we can do this. She's not a girl who misses much. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah. She's well acquainted with the touch of a velvet hand.
Feel guilty.
Those are specific. Yes, there are specific assignments people have. English teachers have given, and this, I believe that one that I'm referencing is in Tennessee. You can look it up yourself. But a child was given an essay along with everyone else, and the one child spoke up about it. Also, there are multiple times where in Zoom classes you have teachers experiencing or displaying
I think I've heard about
bias to the point where they will badger children in the class that have separating ideas. I don't think this level of politics, and this is coming from libertarian, conservative, South right center. I don't know where that is in adjacent to you, but I think that that distributes a political bias that could set up the next generation, keeping people in a framework of mind that could cause rebellion and not acceptance to. And in the long run, that could give us more problems than it could solutions.
Okay.
Now, I would let me finish. I would concede, along with all the other individualists in here, that if there were electives in schools that are purely elective, not within the framework of the day that we're paying for, if there were electives that are provided where people could be involved in an after-school program or something, where if they wanted to participate in it, they could, having no bearance on their grade, I'm pretty sure a majority of the, I'm not going to speak for everyone, I'm not an absolutist here, but I'm going to say that there are a lot of people, if they're a true individualist, they wouldn't care if it was voted through by their school board and it was something that was left on an elective, rather than something that's tied to, let's say, your English class or a history class.
I just want to say, because you've only said one thing there that I take issue with, and it's the idea that children should feel guilty for their race. I don't think that happens that often. I think there are probably some instances that have been highly publicized, but why couldn't you?
Well, let me ask you this: do you condemn that? Do you condemn that?
Yes, I condemn that. Yes,
we all condemn that.
But why couldn't
hands up if you condemn
Just on
guilty
the panel, just
white
on.
people being considered guilty for being white?
Yeah, but why can't you
Just
just
on this
open with
panel.
Yeah,
that?
why
Like,
would you ban a whole ass thing just for that niche thing?
but I'm just
Why
saying,
doesn't it
you
become
could
a
open
discussion?
with that. You could have said, like, the woke thing that I disagree with is telling kids to feel guilty for being white. But instead, we had to run down like 16 subfolders before arriving at that. And I feel like that's
I wanted
like
to summate at the same time. I was trying to summate at the same time. I figured I'd save the specifics for when we got into volley, and we could pick the anecdotes that we actually want to talk about. What exactly
Well, it's just that you said. It's just that you said CRT, but I'm just then you said making white people feel guilty for being white. Which critical race theorist? Which critical race theorist said that white people should feel guilty for being white, though?
I'm not even speaking about a theorist. I'm talking about someone who's entrusted to teach your kids that chooses to inject something into a curriculum.
So it wasn't an example of critical race theory. It's got nothing to do with critical race theory.
A greater thing I'm alluding to is the fact that you could use politics as a teacher to influence kids.
All teaching.
Okay, but this is why I get frustrated when you start with CRT and then talk about someone being made to feel guilty for being. These have nothing to do with each other. If you're going to use a term like woke or CRT or progressive, the problem is you guys have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Like, there's no connection here.
Pivot is like, I gotta give it to y'all. A+ on pivoting. Like,
no, because you're out here banning critical race theory that's being applied very broadly, and then you're talking about these very specific niche things.
I think parents are upset that their kids are being forced to do these particular assignments in accordance to achieving a grade level or passing a 6 weeks. This is what parents have an issue with. I think most people nowadays have progressed, but I mean, I would even say some of the staunchest conservatives have been forced through social, we'll just say democracy. It's to the point where in the frame of individualism, as long as it's not interfering me and that trickles down to my household, my children, then I don't think you have a fight with conservatives on woke culture. It's when you're bringing mobs to our cities. It's whenever you are bringing radical people and putting them in positions, very sensitive positions of influence, like teachers and education, and then the school boards and city supervisors. When these things are happening like this, and you're just seeing it as a parent, and you're watching your parental purview basically being shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. That's what conservatives have a problem with woke culture. And I'll allow any conservative here to correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen, the overwhelming thing is, as long as it's not interceding in our lives, then it's not something that I don't even think I should be able to argue about it.
Okay, so does anyone want to specifically respond to that before I move down the list again, which has Connor, Hake, and Riley on it?
I mean, I was just gonna say real quick, when that was fantastic when Vosh asked Brandt for some specific examples and he gave 2 of them. It was like a mic drop moment.
Can I follow up on that? Because I actually looked up an example from Tennessee, and it seems like the only curriculum that was contested were just books about general American history as it respects to slavery. It's not anything that's specifically about like making kids feel guilty. That's what the mom said in her complaint letter, but the books are just books about the history of slavery.
I know, but that doesn't mean that the teacher wouldn't adopt an assignment that would be adjacent to what the curriculum is.
The books are just about slavery.
But you're thinking that they're just teaching the book. You're not thinking that they're adding an extracurricular.
As a libertarian, the way you fix this is by banning critical race theory, or do you agree that's
not what I'm saying? I would say stopping. I'm a full proponent of the free exchange of ideas, goods, and services. That includes the ideas section. So I'm not for banning something entirely. As much as I may not agree with it, as much as I may not like to hear words that are said, as much as I may cringe, I don't believe in stopping that, because I believe the best ideas, not the most popular, the best ideas rise to the top.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm saying.
We're doing what
and after this, we got to go back to the list.
Like, do you have any actual evidence that they were doing what you're accusing them of? Because right now,
there is an African American mother who talks to, I believe it is Tennessee. I might be wrong. There are so many school boards I've covered, but she goes up there and she gives I could play the testimony for us if we.
So okay. So you have no. So just to be clear, you have no evidence that the teacher was trying to make kids feel guilty for being white, other than one parent said that's what they were doing.
I am talking about the conservative response to the curriculum.
Conservative response to not the curriculum, to one complaint from one parent. Is that right? Is there any other evidence?
There are multiple.
Of that one particular, in this case, in that case,
it is numerous.
I would like to submit. I would like to submit that I am white and I do not feel bad about it.
Man, I mean, I've recorded every episode that we've done, so I can get you some. I can get you many references.
It doesn't prove like this. If this is the primary example, it doesn't. This is your primary example. It doesn't.
That was one that we were talking about an example of woke culture. CRT is the one straw of hay in the hay house.
Okay, so that was.
And one parent complained about it.
It seems like no matter what I do, you're always going to go, well, what else? What else do you have? What else do you have? It seems like that's how we started.
Right, you gave us one example. It was shit. Give us another one.
Well, that's your subjective take. I would
It's
argue
like
the
you guys-
conservative
Stop! I said stop. Okay, we're gonna go to Connor.
The latest news there.
Yeah,
And Hank.
so
You may have
this is
heard the
kind of
name Bobby No
fuck.
which out of
We can
context
sit here and we can argue about what CRT is or fucking isn't, or we could say, like, what are the problems that are currently facing American society is that we have two completely different narratives about what it's like to be American. Most conservatives, libertarians, right-wingers, or whatever think that it's pretty kick-ass to be American, that despite, like, some economic hardships and some, not having access to as much social mobility as we used to, America still kicks ass. Some people who are still American citizens, and we love them because they're American citizens, LGBTQ folk and black and brown folk in particular are saying, like, hey, some of this country kicks ass, and some of this fucking sucks. And if you look at the history of the things that have sucked, then basically you can extrapolate it out onto the present of why things still suck for some of us in certain ways. So what we can do, which I'm counting on, is we can sit here and we can say, your problems aren't real, fuck you, and stop trying to indoctrinate my kids into communism. And then we can say, on the advice, we can say, hey, we're just trying to teach you about the real world, and all of this fucking Marxist bullshit is a bunch of fucking alarmism. Or we can, like, talk past the points that we're here, where we're, like, bickering and fucking arguing about it.
Now
What
we've got
do
the
you want to
centrist
teach kids about slavery? What do you want to teach kids about LGBTQ folk? What do you want to teach? Do you want to teach them to be libertarian, where they just treat everybody as human beings? Or do you want to teach them to adopt it, like, wholeheartedly into them, that, like, non-binary folk, trans folk, and all that kind of stuff, against their, like, religious teachings, are people that are, like, worthy of, like, the love and respect and equality that some religions would prohibit them against. So are you trying to go liberal or libertarian, or are you trying to go authoritarian, where you're trying to completely change the culture? And I think that's like an important question to answer, because if it's like liberal or libertarian, awesome, let's fucking do it. If it's authoritarian and you're like, no, we need anti-theocracy, fuck religion, fuck these religious fucks, then obviously you're gonna have beef with conservatives because a decent chunk of them are religious.
I don't believe religion is inherently transphobic. I don't believe religion is inherently homophobic.
What about homophobic?
No, I don't think it has to be, because I know a lot of Christians that aren't homophobes.
Well, wokeism is a religion.
It's easier to be.
I'm
not saying it has to be.
I can't believe I let Dylan convince me to come on these panels. Holy shit. I take a fucking...
And you see how, like, certain
I take
biblical
psychic
verses can
damage
be
every
used
time
to
I come on
justify
here.
homophobia or transphobia?
Yeah, just like racism.
Okay. All right.
Which, like, I would argue against racism, even on a religious, like, I don't think you should be able to be religious and racist just because your religion is racist. I think the problem, like, if I were to say Christians can't exist because I'm gay or something, like, that would be fucked up to me. And I feel similarly about religion. Like, I'm gonna treat these people poorly because I'm religious. I don't think that's fair. I just think it's unreasonable. And for you to consider, like, being anti-racist while still accepting religion to be, like, somehow you didn't say authoritarian, but you were saying it was, like, not libertarian. That feels unfortunate to me. Like, it feels like really, it feels like, do you have a really bad view on what religion, do you think religion has to inherently be?
Have you ever been to a woke protest? Have you ever been to a woke protest and not been someone who identifies with the crowd? Have you ever been anywhere near that before?
What is a woke?
I have.
No. Where are you going with this?
Where I'm going with this is this tolerance. I'm going on with tolerance here.
I feel like Lumi is scratching at a solution, which I think would be super cool. No, I don't think it has to be. And I do believe in, like, incremental societal change. So if the point, like, if our education system was saying, like, hey, LGBTQ folk are fucking real, you gotta honor their pronouns, you can't be fucking dicks to them just because they're gay or bi or non-binary or trans or whatever. If you have, like, different religious beliefs, you need to keep that shit at home. You need to treat everybody with love and respect the same way that everybody treats you with love and respect. I think that's, like, a perfectly fucking valid thing. And then on top of that, we're gonna learn about the fucked up history of how gay folk were treated in the past and how black and brown folk were treated in the past. And you're just gonna have to deal with the fact If you want to argue about it politically with your family when you get home, awesome, you do you, but you got to keep it at home. And then if you want to talk about over time, like culturally saying like, hey, listen, here's these prescriptions in the Bible. So for instance, like I think within the past couple of years, there's been like supposedly a historically corroborated interpretation that said that all of the biblical verses that were previously used for homosexuality are likely historically supported for pedophilia, and therefore a lot of religious faith like homophobia is actually not warranted from like a historical lens, and you just kind of want to chip away at the homophobia that might be within like certain religious communities. I think that's fucking awesome. What I don't like is where basically what you would say is like, nope, this is the right culture, fuck you, and if you don't like it, we're gonna shove this down your fucking throat. And I think that's the way that a lot of conservatives feel, so I'll leave it there.
Well, Connor, to answer what you were saying earlier, you were talking about like, what do you want to like change in education and things like that. A really good example of something that happened here was that like in the 1980s, Margaret Thatcher wanted history, for example, in primary and secondary school to be all about kings and battles and just like reverence for the elites, basically. And it was like that when I was a kid as well. More recently, they've started, like teachers started taking a bit more control. They've diversified, and now they'll teach things like the roles in the slave trade or like the Industrial Revolution, and actually like stories about like a lot more like working class and social history, and then even LGBT stuff from the 80s. So that would be like a really good example, I think, of just something being taken, like it's always going to be political, like a lot of these subjects. So that's just something, taking a subject and, I don't know, taking it from shit conservative pilled and making it into like awesome woke pilled.
Well, I think conservatives...
So
tutors are boring.
Wait. Okay. Hake has been waiting very patiently, so I want to make sure he gets time to speak. I'll write down the people who've been trying.
Parents who send their children to public or even private schools nowadays are taking a major risk on losing their children to blind brainwashing. And they're going to end up turning on the parents, hating them, and hating everybody, because this woke stuff and this CRT, and even not CRT, they've been pushing this blind brainwashing about imaginary racism for decades, and generation after generation it's gotten worse. You have like young college-educated teachers brainwashing their kids into supporting Black Lives Matter.
I like how literally everyone on the
these
panel has
posters,
agreed silently that Hake is not
all
worth
kinds of
engaging with.
communist posters.
Like everyone, nobody responds to what he
that
says.
The radical
He just shows up, says
LGBT
racism isn't
agenda
real.
pushed on little
It's
kids.
quiet, nobody responds.
And they're just so misguided. They're on TikTok coming out to their kids. It's wrong. America was not founded on this slavery and genocide stuff. Slavery wasn't one of the world's worst evils. We have Democrats today who are much worse than the Democrat slave owners of back then. They're killing babies in the womb. It's like out of control. We're going along counterpoints, going along with these delusions of these people is not showing that is being an a-hole.
Listen, that was a lot, but can you tell me when America stopped being racist specifically?
Racism never existed in the first place.
Well, hold on. What about racism against the white man?
it's Christy, and I'm here with your Goodwill outfit of the week. A chill in the air can mean only one thing, the arrival of many get-togethers.
I'm King Kong, I'm James Bond， 故事里面背后在的选购，还没掏枪你就先送，小子后平的狗子就飞上天空，当金刚狼把爪子伸出来，代表有人马上要被大卸8块，身子里面后的天门一爪打开，这一幕把电视前的你给吓呆。哇塞，就别问我从哪来的，爬开的 city 巴黎中心门都喊我华仔，钱都溢出口袋，兄弟团结友爱，我的 God， 马里尼。山头上面涂上鱼子酱，情话才不落泪 why not？ 会让你说你们一直上，我不怕自然的灾害，也活得下来，因为比你胖。变化关键我在飞机上，绕到芬兰寻找北极光，穿越到侏罗纪降落在部落里，随时随地都在这里唱。三文鱼5碗饭，赛季 waiting why not？Young Asian got a dress, roll my teeth why not？Air Jordan skinny jeans, polo shirt why not？Hair game, rocking bang, turn up, fuck up why not？Take a crazy chance, do a crazy dance, making heads 走起，红着每一天。Take a crazy chance, do a crazy dance, ice crazy 都是我的 fans。伤脑筋，不要不高兴，你要怪就怪你自己没有主角命，坏毛病搞不定。我们说话情不自禁的押韵，纯白色的 T 丢进洗衣机，抱着每次灯台亮相穿得很干净。你身体着了魔，房顶也着了火，看死神来了 ，1 2 3 4，没人熬得过，跑得脱。人群里面冲个浪，吹了泪说中国棒，狂的像在野生动物，狮子老虎睡在我旁边。很抱歉，我们的玩笑开得大，城堡的范围到火星地带，人上了山顶必须被融化，历史注定会把我记在耳。我听说你打了16套军地拳，却被捅了32套，真倒霉，该怪谁？你要知道，在你挑衅之前，我都已经能看到你。有人说我特点很好，给你一个机会把身份对到，从头再来一样能够办到。再犹豫什么？行动吧 ，Why not？ 三文鱼5碗饭，赛季 waiting why not？Young Asian got a dress, roll my teeth why not？Air Jordan skinny jeans, polo shirt why not？Hair game, rocking bang, turn up, fuck up why not？Take a crazy chance, do a crazy dance, making heads 走起，红着每一天。Take a crazy chance, do a crazy dance, ice crazy 都是我的 fans。小朋友们，你们明白了吗？
I've seen how cancer can affect the people I care about. That's why I'm helping protect myself against some cancers, like certain cancers caused by HPV. For most people,
walk up to him and say, "Hey, that's my motherfucking nigga. I hang in the ground with them killers. Like a block of flame on the hood nigga. Real slow, corners, nigga. I go hard in the motherfucking tank, nigga. Leave you stankin', nigga. Stankin'. I won't die for this shit. Fuck I say. Throwing yard, day with the F.